Are you entered enough?
Hello, my name is Pam,
And I'm John.
and we're not done yet.
Nope, we're still going strong.
Yeah. And we're here on a rainy day in Minneapolis. It's Halloween.
Yes.
We had killer costumes at our little building party last night, didn't we?
We did. We went as art thieves.
Yes.
And we wore all black, including black beanies. One of us had black gloves on. The other one forgot their gloves.
So he left fingerprints.
Yeah. And then we had some nice big art pictures that we could carry around like we stole them and kind of hunch over and run back and forth.
Sneaking.
Yeah, sneaky, trying to be sneaky like thieves.
Yeah.
And we presented ourselves as having stolen them from the Louvre.
Yes.
And then a few people reminded us that the things that were stolen from the Louvre
were jewelry.
Were all jewelry. And I
Yes.
said, well, that's what you think. And that's what the press thinks. But we snuck in after those jewel thieves and got these even more valuable paintings. And no one has ever discovered that yet because they're so busy looking for the jewels. So it went over pretty big.
Yes. We did good.
And we had explained it a little bit to some people.
But we had fun doing that.
Oh, we had fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun.
Yep.
So it was a good time.
It was. So, what we're going to talk about today on Friday Frolics is slightly more frolicking than last week, which was, I think, consumerism. This week, it's related to sort of stress reduction or finding a way to really get your bang for your buck when it comes to living. And back in 2005, this book was published, 7 Sins for a Life Worth Living by Roger Housden. And I read about it in the New York Times, and at the time I was a nervous wreck. We had a house at the beach and a business there. I was working for a major nonprofit in Seattle, and we were renting a house there. My husband, of course, had all his illnesses then, just a little bit healthier, but we were going back and forth a 3-hour drive from Seattle to the beach, sometimes with the 2 basset hounds and the 2 cats and the 2 grandchildren, back and forth. And that same year or shortly thereafter, I guess both our mothers died. And for all the women out there, you know, that there were a million other things too that I was managing. Frank was retired. But so I was looking for anti-anxiety readings. Well, I got 2 of them. One of them I've already given away, but I kept this 7 Sins for Life Worth Living. And I was moving books last weekend, and I found the book. It was just laying there. And I thought, okay, I'm going to take a look at this because I never did read it. I was too busy to read it. And I really liked the book. And so he talks in some detail about the 7 sins, that it's okay. And in fact, it's advised, he would be advising us to live by them. So today I thought we would just talk about the first 3. And then next Friday we can do some more. But the 7 sins, I'll read those to you. The pleasure of all 5 senses, the pleasure of being foolish, the pleasure of not knowing, the pleasure of not being perfect, the pleasure of doing nothing useful, the pleasure of being ordinary, the pleasure of coming home. So we're going to talk about the pleasure of all 5 senses, the pleasure of being foolish, which I'm very good at, and the pleasure of not knowing, which neither of us are very good at.
Yeah, well, I don't quite understand that one.
Okay,
really.
well, I'm going to fill you in.
Okay, good.
And this is the first time John's hearing about this,
I haven't seen these before at all.
So we'll see what he has to say. One of the things on the 5 senses, so I actually Googled it because, you know, you don't just sit around and talk about the 5 senses all the time.
Should we guess what they are? Or?
You want to guess?
Well,
You can't read the notes.
Is touch a sense?
Yep, that's called, well, I won't even go into
How about
the long
hearing?
name. Hearing, that's
Seeing?
good. What?
Seeing.
Yep, sight.
Smelling.
Yep,
Tasting.
you got them.
I got them all?
Yes, you did. There's some more other ones now, but they're really long multi-syllable words that aren't part of the normal lexicon related to senses.
Oh.
So the point that the author makes initially is that the way our life is, especially here in the United States, well, we've had so many technological advances that we don't have as many opportunities to actually experience firsthand these senses. You know, you think about years of Zoom meetings, even recorded baseball games. You know, you can fast forward through whatever you want. There's no people yelling and cheering in the crowds, you know. And AI, of course, this was written before it had hit its stride. You can do anything you want to do. Virtual reality experiences. You can climb a mountain that way. You can swim across the Atlantic that way, I imagine. You can climb Mount Everest that way. But your senses aren't being activated because you can't feel the rock or the cold snow or smell the salt water, hear the seagulls. And so what he's trying to say here is that we really need to pay some attention and connect with the world around us by these senses that we're so blessed to have as human beings. And the primary one that Roger starts out talking about is touch, because that, you know, you're in the womb, but your little arms are floating around touching things, I guess. And I just thought of a couple of things that I really like the touch of. And I've noticed that more and more lately. And one is when I have on a pair of really well-worn jeans, and I don't have those jeans on today, but I love the way that material feels. Just, it's a worn softness, and there, you know, we all love our jeans, at least I do. And then that softness and the history of those pants. I have a couple like that, and I just love that. And then another thing that comes to mind, raise your arm, please.
Okay.
He normally had been wearing a sort of a textile band with his smartwatch on this wrist. And I would love to put my hand inside the band and rub right there.
Oh.
And it feels so good. And then this little place somewhere around your thumb. I don't know. But those are just some things that brought me great comfort and joy. The pants, his wrist, and a few other body parts. And he also makes the point, and I think this is especially true for older people, that, you know, intimacy, it doesn't have to be thunder and stars and, you know, the trumpets start playing, bam, you hit it home. It's just the pleasure of being in a trusting physical embrace with another person. And being there, you know, sort of exposed and, well, maybe actually exposed, but being there and being your true self with another person without any worry about the world around you. And how important that is to keep us grounded. So that's my thought on touch. You got something?
Well, I as you were speaking there, I just thought of my wife, actually. My wife died 2.5 years ago. And I missed her for a lot of reasons, but I really missed hugging her. I just really missed hugging her and having that kind of contact with another human on a regular basis. And so that, and Pam and I started hanging out together just a little over a year ago. So I was about 1.5 years without really hugging anyone. except maybe once in a while a relative or something. And
Mm-hmm.
so I really miss that.
Mm-hmm. But now you get hugs.
No, you and I hug, and that's really nice.
It is really nice.
So.
Yeah. Oh, and and then he talks about taste. And this, I'm sure most of you have heard about the slow food movement in this country. Everything here is fast. And, you can buy foods that come in a box and take 2 minutes or 10 minutes in the microwave, but that are prepared ahead of time and so forth. And I do that. But there is something when you have this time to slow down and actually make the food or spend time between courses, as they do in the slow food or the food to what is it, farm to table restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
where there's more thoughtfulness given not only to the preparation but to the consumption. And I used to be a lot better about this than I am now, but I would try to think about, when I remembered, where whatever I was about to eat, how that started. What was the chain that brought that from the field or the barnyard or wherever to my table? So not just who just cooked it for me, or being myself or anyone else, but who planted the seed, who harvested, who watered it, who packed it, who came up with the blurb on the bag or the box that it came in. And what the point here is, of course, is to slow down and enjoy. And also, I think when you think about where the food comes from, you're having a deeper connection, and it's less, it makes us more human. Otherwise, we're just consumers. But it connects us with the humanity and that the other lives, that were sacrificed perhaps, or at least worked to bring us the food that we eat. Thoughts on food, John?
Yeah, I definitely. I think the sense of taste is one where I really, just by accident, excel at, because I really chew my food well, and I always have.
Yes, you do.
And I'm a slow finisher because of that. But I just there's you can't, if you just take 2 or 3 chews and then swallow. You're missing out on a lot of the flavor, because you can chew your food for quite a while and still get flavor out of it and pleasure out of it. And I don't do that really consciously. It's just something that I've always done. And I'm usually the last one to finish. But I think it's good, and I like doing that. So I'm proud of that.
Yeah. And it's supposed to be healthier.
I think it is healthier on your digestion to do that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad to do that, and I don't know why I do. It just sort of happened with me.
Yeah. And I'm a fast eater. I think that's caused you to think more about your own slowness.
Yeah, you're always finished before I am.
And that is part of my anxiety. I'm always thinking about the next thing, moving on to the next thing. And smell and taste are largely or closely related. And I lost my sense of smell a few years ago, where it started going bad. And it's not Parkinson's. Sometimes that can be a sign of that. It's just one doctor said I could have been hit on the head. And I think I know when that happened. I wasn't hit. I hit my head on something. But as the time has gone by and I can't smell food, now I really pay attention to the texture. And so I like foods that have, texture to them. And what I wanted to say about smell, because John also has that issue, but there are certain smells, like I can conjure up the smell. Only I know I'm not really smelling it. I'm thinking it. Like I can be seeing a campfire on the television, and I start to smell the wood fire. Only it's just I don't even know what that is. Somebody who knows the mind better than me might know what that is.
Yeah.
How do you deal with your lack of smell?
For some reason, my sense of smell kind of disappeared 10 to 15 years ago. And I don't really know why. I mean, the worst possibility is if you have some kind of a brain tumor in the wrong place
Right.
in your head that can affect your sense of smell. I never really wanted to find that out, so I've never pursued it. I just know that I don't have much of a sense of smell at all, and I'm still here. So if I have a brain tumor that's affecting it, it's pretty slow acting. So I'm okay with it. I mean, I wish I still had it. And if smells are really strong, I can smell them. But overall, I can't smell. So I think I'm missing out on something.
Yeah.
By that.
For those of you who can smell, you might want to sort of pay attention to that and how you might be, walking somewhere and you smell cinnamon, maybe. Because you're going by a bakery and that smell of cinnamon reminds you of something your grandmother made. I know the smell of the ocean, the sea. We would get about an hour away from our home on the coast, and I would this wave of contentment sort of came over me when I could start to smell the ocean. So it's pretty special. And I think all of what this book talks about are things that we all know, to just pay attention to ourselves and our body and how it's sensing the world. And of course, another sight. There was a really interesting example that Roger puts in this book, and it's about a man who was a bird watcher. And he's one of the people that kept the list of the birds he saw. And he did it by watching television.
Oh.
He would watch sporting events, golf tournaments, and then that was how he saw the birds. He wasn't outside seeing the birds. But I think the point that was being made here, I think that's sort of cool. And technology really helps people who can't get out and, connect with nature to still be part of it. So it's not a blanket statement. But I think the point he was trying to make was, well, I'm not sure. At first I thought it was a negative, and then I thought it was a positive. I'm not sure. What do you think?
I'm not sure what you're asking.
Well, if a guy who wants to keep a record of birds that he's seen does that by watching birds on baseball games and
not necessarily nature programs.
Not out there, right?
Okay.
But some maybe nature programs or outdoor activities, and is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I think that's a great thing.
Okay.
I think it would be difficult though, because I don't think you see that many of them, and you don't see them for that long, except on a nature show.
Yeah.
So more power to him or her, and my eyes aren't good. I mean, I've had some surgery on my eyes, especially one of them, and I can't really read a book anymore. So I listen to audiobooks a lot, and I'm just glad they're available.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many books that are on audio now that there's way more than I can listen to. So it's been great for me. And I can read a short magazine article, but not very much when my eye starts to really hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So,
what's your favorite sound?
My favorite sound?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy, what a question. That's something I've never thought about. And, a lot of people talk about the sound that a loon makes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think might be Minnesota's bird. I don't know.
I think it is, yeah.
And I grew up in the city and never was out in the country or at a lake or anything growing up. But now I've heard loons a few times, and I love the sound that a loon
Mm-hmm.
makes. So that's later in life. That's even to just hear it on TV or something. That's one of my favorite sounds. Trying to think of another. Well, I actually like the sound of the engine of a real powerful car.
Hmm.
The back down of the exhaust pipes,
Hmm.
and plus the acceleration of a car with a really large engine. I always liked cars growing up, and I just like that. I like that sound.
Mine is crickets, followed by bird song, any and all, including the loon.